Yo, you got the original Lone Wolf coming at y'all, man. This will not be a brief video. This will not be a brief video. What you all, or who you all are looking at, and I want to try to make this a higher quality. They're only giving it up to me up into 240 pixels, so let me see if it got anything higher than that. There's a reason for why I'm doing that, though. Yeah, 240 is the highest. Okay, 240 pixel is the highest that they're going to give me, right? Now, one of the reasons for why is because this is an old video, right? According to, if I turn the video back the other way, it was downloaded or uploaded or whatever onto YouTube 11 years ago, right? So that's why the screen is not going to be all of that great, right? But what you all going to be doing is just listening to what he's saying and what I'm saying too. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's really all y'all going to be listening to. But like I said, this ain't going to be no brief video, man. More than likely, I'm going to have to do a part 2. But I got to get this out here. I got to put this out here so people understand, man, right? And I want to take the time to say a couple of things before I go into this video. Thank you for the subscribers that I have. For the ones who have good intentions in your heart, and only you know that. Only you know if your intentions are good or not, honorable, righteous or not. Only you know. But I love y'all, man. You know, for the ones who are honorable people and they really don't mean me any harm and they really want to see an end to this shit, I dedicate this video to y'all. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you. I appreciate it. For all of the newer subscribers that just came along in the last week or so, this is my 3rd YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel was taken down because of this video that I'm finna do now, or shit similar to the videos that I do. I made a backup channel, which is still up. It's called Original Lone Wolf True News. Not too long after quite naturally after they took down my original channel, I started, spending all my time on, the backup channel, which is Original Lone Wolf True News. Not too long after that, instead of YouTube taking down that entire platform, Google, when I went to log in, they sent me an error message one time, right? Like, you know how like when you use YouTube on your phone and everything, it don't really necessarily show you everything, like in particularly details about your analytics and all of those things. But like if you log into like a computer or a laptop or something, you know what I'm saying, you can kind of have more access. Well, I had went to log in one day and Google sent me an error message telling me that my account was suspended. And from that point up until now, the channel is still up. You can see my face and everything, but they won't let me access the channel. So I can't upload new videos or nothing. I can't go in there and respond to a comment, nothing. I can't do shit. They completely kicked me out. They locked me out. So this channel here is the 3rd channel. All right. The 3rd channel in close to 5.5 years. I want you guys to understand that the reason for why I'm doing this is because the attacks are coming from everywhere. These are acts of war that these people are bringing upon us. And what's so crazy about it is we have not committed acts of war against them. This is the reason for why I get on here. Now, I know Jim Red Wolf, his whole style and his perception may be a little different from mine. But because I know that the vast majority of people, whether if it's on my soil or somewhere else, the vast majority of people, they have not waged war against governments and all of these things. They don't do that kind of shit. But yet the governments and these fucking people in charge are waging war against the people and they haven't done anything to these, people haven't done anything to them for them to be raging war. And this is the reason why I get on here the way I do. You know what I'm saying? This is why, to some of y'all I may come across as bold and like damn, this motherfucker act like he and if you ever got that feeling about me, it's because I don't give a fuck. And I just told you the reason for why. We not waging war against these people, man. I done made too many videos within 3 different channels telling motherfuckers, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no beef. I've made Since my first channel all the way up until now, man, I've made videos talking to the police. Like, man, bro, y'all just gonna allow this shit to happen? I thought y'all took an oath to the Constitution. I made videos talking to the FBI and the CIA. They listening any fucking way. You know what I'm saying? I made videos like, man, why y'all doing this shit to people, man? We not bothering y'all. Straight up. I've tried to separate the so-called good cops from the bad one. Where the fucking cops that give a fuck? Because they ain't on my channel. And if they are, I don't know they cops. You understand? This motherfucker y'all looking at on screen right here, man, in my opinion, helped. Because like I said, he like that Edward Snowden motherfucker, or James Snowden, or what the fuck that nigga's name is that's supposed to, you know, gave away all of the goddamn U.S. secrets and and got amnesty over in fucking Russia, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. He kind of like this motherfucker to me. Like, they all in on it, right? But like I told y'all, they got to let y'all know what they do. If they tell y'all and you don't do nothing, then to them, they got clean hands, no matter what happened to you. This ain't my thing. This is the Masonic order. It's not my thing. I'm just telling you all, within the 15 years of me studying this shit, this is the things that I've come across. But the guy you looking at on screen, right, is a part of putting certain shit in place that you all are going to hear, that we're going to break down, right? To where you got the police out here so fucking stupid that they don't even goddamn realize that doing the whole thing with them trying to force people to take the shots. Number one, the same motherfucking people that was trying to, the same people that hand down all of the motherfucking shit to the police, and they go out here and pull niggas over for a busted tail light and because they fucking plates expired, and they write all these fucking tickets and do all this fucked up shit to a motherfucker that's just flat out bogus, that's non-criminal. The motherfuckers that get in the power and the authority to come out there to do that, those are the same motherfuckers that told them they had to take the shot or lose their job. And a lot of these motherfucking cops on the force right now, they still don't get it. They still don't get it. Well, this dude is finna go into talking about a lot of shit as to how this becomes, how it get to a point like this, and cops still don't get it. I'm tired of this shit. Like I told you about this certain character who I made a video about last night. I'm not going to say his fucking name. Just go back and watch the video. This is how this shit goes. And it's through the fact that I was open to this type of knowledge and this type of information that this man finna drop. Due to the fact that I was open to this kind of shit is one of the reasons for why I can spot certain shit. And shout out to you, Nichelle, because we both seen this video. You probably sitting back cracking up watching this shit. Because this is the video that made me and you cool. All right? From, I don't know how long we've been fucking around on Discord. Shit, what, about 2-3 years now? 3 years, 4 years almost now? This is the video right here that made me and Nichelle cool. We've been cool ever since we both discovered we know about this kind of shit. So shout out to you, baby girl. And the rest of y'all sit back, man. Don't get no popcorn and no fucking soda and all that, because y'all are you gonna vomit from this shit. This shit is not for entertainment purposes, man. This is for you to take this fucking information and go look into it for yourself. This shit ain't entertainment purposes, man. This ain't. This video I'm doing now, and like I said, it'll probably be a part 2. This is a video where I want you all to take the goddamn information and look into it for yourself. And this ain't for fucking entertainment purposes. This is not fucking Disneyland.
Subversion is the term, if you look in a dictionary or criminal code to that matter, usually is explained as a part of activity to destroy things like religion, government system, political, economical system of a country. And usually it's linked to espionage and such romantic things as blowing up.
Listen, I want you all to look at, when you're watching this, or listening to it rather, because you don't necessarily have to look at the screen. I want you all to replay events and different things that has happened over the course of your lifetime. I want you to think about certain celebrities and entertainers and certain things that has happened and certain narratives that was brought to the forefront about these people. I want you to think about that shit that has happened that you know about over the course of your lifetime. I want you to think about these fucking politicians, these so-called officials, these so-called policy officers. You might know of them as the police. I want you to think about this shit over the course of your lifetime while you listening to him.
Part of activity to destroy things like religion, government system, political, economical system of a country. And usually it's linked to espionage and such romantic things as blowing up bridges, sidetracking trains, cloak and dagger activity in Hollywood style.
He said cloak and dagger Hollywood style. Look, I'm not finna go into the cloak and dagger and what that shit mean. Look, man, I ain't got time for that. Write the shit down and go look it up. If you don't know what the fuck a cloak is, go look it up. I'm not trying to be an asshole right now, but I don't want to, certain shit I don't want to get into because you guys can look into that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm more interested in helping you guys with certain things you're just not getting. It's like, yeah, I hear you, Lone Wolf, but what about this? That's the kind of shit I want to focus on. But, little shit like, cloak and dagger and all that. Hey, look, man, I'm not finna be giving y'all definitions of all that. Y'all go look that shit up on y'all own. But he say they do this in cloak and dagger, Hollywood cloak and dagger form. I've been telling y'all that a lot of the shit y'all hear about and that y'all be seeing on TV and this, that, and the other is fake as hell. A person like Nichelle, she will tell you this. She been down with me since my first channel. Nichelle, how many goddamn videos have I been making telling y'all that this shit is a psyop? And the man just told you Hollywood. He said Hollywood cloak and dagger style. You should be able to figure that out without picking up a dictionary.
Of the country. And usually it's linked to espionage and such romantic things as blowing up bridges, sidetracking trains, cloak and dagger activity in Hollywood style. What I'm going to talk about now has absolutely nothing to do with the cliché of espionage or KGB activity of collecting information. So the greatest mistake or misconception, I think, is that whenever we are talking about KGB, for some strange reason, starting from Hollywood movie makers to professors of political science and quote-unquote experts on Soviet.
If you don't know and understand what people who are in the political science arena do, go look it up. This is where you get all your science from. Trust the science. And notice he said political science. You know why? Because science is politics. You can't have one without the other. This is what they use to replace natural with. That's why the sisters don't want their hair no more. They want to wear all this fucking weave. And then they want to hold it together with glue and fucking yarn and fucking U-boats and nuts and bolts and shit. Instead of letting their own natural hair be the way it's supposed to be. Did you know that one of the highest ingredients in your hair is copper? Did you know that? Did you know that copper is a very good conductor? Do you know anything about magnetism? Do you know anything about how the earth works in terms of its magnetism and the frequency and shit that it gives off? Red Wolf talk about it all the time. He talk about it all the time. All the time. But yet this is the very fucking thing you want to cover up all the time. Put all these fake ass chemicals and shit in your hair. All right? It's called political science. Political science created Revlon. Do you understand? Political science created that dead man makeup that these women are wearing. How many damn videos have I did on my original channel telling motherfuckers that not all women, but a lot of the makeup that some of these women wear, that's the exact makeup they put on dead people. The exact makeup. Here's what I got to say to this person, right? that I'm not finna utter his name, because like I was disgusted with Buddy last night, and it's like I don't let internet type chat and all that shit. I don't let that shit affect me. So I had to say that little shit I said last night, and I moved on. Don't black mean you dead. Don't black mean you don't have no rights. Don't black mean you are not a part of the living. Ain't this how black people act?
I think, is that whenever we are talking about KGB, for some strange reason, starting from Hollywood movie makers to professors of political science and quote-unquote experts on Soviet affairs, or Kremlinologists as they call themselves.
And notice he said quote-unquote, as they seem to call themselves. You know why? Because they're not that. They're not that. This is the reason why you got to be fucking careful as to who you listen to. Especially if that person ain't willing to sit down and fucking explain to you and tell you where they got the information from and point you in the direction of that same source. This is the reason for why, you know what I'm saying, you got to be careful. I made a video the other day and I was saying, you know, about why they don't give motherfuckers like me a real platform. Why a motherfucker like Westside Kulik or Red Wolf or something. You think Red Wolf, you think they going to let that nigga read them books to everybody? Get the fuck out of here, because that ain't no Mr. Rogers shit. That ain't no fucking Mr. Rogers shit. That's some real motherfucking shit that this nigga reading. And then he tell you, nigga, this is the author. This is when they copyrighted it. This is where the fuck I bought it from, in the whole 9 yards. At least he give you the opportunity to see for your fucking self. And that's all I'm saying. Remember, scratch a lie, find a thief. You understand? It's just that goddamn simple.
Starting from Hollywood movie makers to professors of political science and quote-unquote experts on Soviet affairs, or Kremlinologists as they call themselves, they think that the most desirable thing for Andropov and the whole KGB is to steal blueprints of some supersonic jet, bring it back to Soviet Union and sell it to the Soviet military-industrial complex. This is only partly true. If we take the whole time, money, and manpower that the Soviet Union and KGB in particular spends outside of USSR border, we will discover, of course there are no official statistics unlike with CIA or FBI, that the espionage as such occupies only 10 to 15% of money, time, and manpower. 15% of the activity of KGB. The rest, 85%, is always subversion. And unlike a dictionary...
Did you hear what he just said? What I've been doing every time I pause it is I always rewind like the last 15 seconds to give you guys an opportunity to hear what he said again. Did you hear what he just said? Now, first of all, let me go back. Let me go back just a second. The KGB is a Russian CIA. All right? So instead of calling them the CIA, they call the KGB, but they basically on the same level as this, what the CIA do here in America. Okay? Now, he just told you, he said we spend 15% of our time, effort, and money, you know, manpower, into this whole fucking operation we doing. He say the rest of it, which is 85%, he said the rest of that shit is subversion. Man, y'all gonna fucking learn today. You gonna learn, for those who choose to learn. This is the reason why the first thing that come out of my mouth, they playing you, dude. First thing I tell a motherfucker. Anybody who chop it up with me, like in the Zoom meetings, motherfuckers text me or call me and we talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? They get it. I give them that real spill. I tell them. A motherfucker like Shata Haya tell you, bro, this how he be on the phone and shit. Like we be in the Zoom meetings and all that. This how this nigga be. Like he's serious. I'm not fucking playing. They playing you, dude. That's what it is. It's just that fucking simple, man. And it's crazy. We only got into 2 minutes of it. The whole fucking thing is like an hour or so. I'm gonna have to chop this shit up into like 3 or 4 pieces, man. Straight up. Because I talk too much for number one. You know what I'm saying? But for number two, he put a lot of juicy shit in here.
And manpower. 15% of the activity of KGB. The rest, 85%, is always subversion. And unlike a dictionary of English, Oxford Dictionary, subversion in Soviet terminology means always a destructive, aggressive activity aimed to destroy the country, nation, or geographical area of your enemy.
Now, did you hear what he just said? You hear what he just said? Look, I'm going to tell y'all one more time. Y'all done heard me say it a million times on this channel alone. I'm going to say it again. Brute force will never be as strong as deception. Brute force will never be as strong as deception. I'm going to take this back. I want y'all to hear what the man just said. Listen, like I said, go back over through your life as you hearing him talk and think about different politicians and cops and famous people and just certain things that didn't happen over the course. Think about that shit while you listening to him. Think, man.
And manpower. 15% of the activity of KGB. The rest, 85%, is always subversion. And unlike a dictionary of English, Oxford Dictionary, subversion in Soviet terminology means always a destructive, aggressive activity.
Now he's excuse me, guys. He say in Soviet terminology, right? But here's the thing that y'all, excuse me. Here's the thing you guys got to understand. That's bullshit. It's not just Soviet terminology. It's all terminology. Because for number one, the shit that he talking about, you can see here on our soil. This ain't the fucking Soviet Union or the USSR Republic, whatever the fuck they used to call that shit. This is our land. But yet we see the same motherfucking thing that he talking about over here. It's not just Soviet. It's not just fucking KGB. It's all of them. They're in on it. That's part of the subversion. Well, what do you mean, Lone Wolf? How is that part of the subversion? They pretend like they against each other. Goddamn, y'all gonna fucking learn.
Aimed to destroy the country, nation, or geographical area of your enemy. So there's no romantics in there, absolutely. No blowing up bridges, no microfilms in Coca-Cola cans, nothing of that sort. No James Bond nonsense. It's most of this activity is overt.
Did you hear what he just said? He said you don't get none of that James Bond nonsense. That's fantasy. That's where they want you at. They want you to live in that movie, that James Bond movie. Why they sprinkle little droplets of the truth and shit in it? Because y'all saw the last James Bond movie where the punk died and shit on that little island or whatever. When he had the little daughter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They want you living in that life, in that realm, in that fucking fantasy. What is that? That's all part of, oh my God, we got our people that turned against us and they're fighting against us and they done went rogue and all this other dumb shit like you see in the James Bond movies. That shit is fantasy, man. They all working together. They doing what the fuck we can't do. This be the reason why I be like, man, don't be fucking scared. What the fuck you scared of? Send that goddamn letter. Say what the fuck you gotta say. Them niggas are working together. Why you over here talking about, well, you know, I gotta get my nerve up and it's like, are you nuts? These motherfuckers are all working together and hoping and praying to God you don't ever get the nerve. See, that's why I come in at. I gotta tell you, get your fucking weight up, man. This is what they doing. You want to spend the rest of your life trying to get the fucking nerve and end up dying in the fucking process? Or do you want to fucking grow a pair? Do you want to construct yourself a spine and get in the fight?
So there's no romantics in there, absolutely. No blowing up bridges, no microfilms in Coca-Cola cans, nothing of that sort. No James Bond nonsense. It's most of this activity is overt, legitimate, and easily observable if you give yourself time and trouble to observe it. But according to the law and law enforcement systems of the Western civilization, It's not a crime. Exactly because of misconception, manipulation of terms. We think that subverter is a person who is going to blow up our beautiful bridges. No. Subverter is a student who comes for exchange, a diplomat, an actor, an artist, a journalist like myself.
Did you hear him? Are you listening to him? These motherfuckers, sometimes they come in the form of looking like you. He say they're subverters. That mean they are agent, basically. Do you know how many motherfucking people that get on not just YouTube, like the motherfucker's name I refuse to say, but just motherfuckers who look like us, period, that be all on TV and this, that, and the other, that went to school for political science and shit, and you'll never know. They're part of it. This is the reason why you heard him say actors out of your own mouth. That's the reason why I say, as you listening to him talk, you got to go over certain shit within your life that from your lifetime, with actors, with politicians, with law enforcement, with, you know what I'm saying, Hollywood and all this other shit and sports and all. You have to do that so you can piece together what he's talking about, because these are your experiences. You have to take your experiences over your lifetime and put it with what he's saying so you can have the understanding. I can't take my life experiences and do it for you. I had to do it for me. That's how come I can understand it. This is the reason for why I could break it down. And I'm trying to show you how you can do it too.
Because of misconception, manipulation of terms, we think that subverter is a person who is going to blow up our beautiful bridges. No. Subverter is a student who comes for exchange, a diplomat, an actor, an artist, a journalist like myself was 10 years ago. Now, subversion is...
He said an actor, an artist, and a journalist. Come on, guys. I know y'all understand, man. I know y'all understand this shit. This is their job. Now, I don't want you going out and just unsubscribing to everybody on YouTube and all this other shit and woo-woo, right? But you're definitely going to have to start looking at people differently. You're going to have to pay them some attention. You want to know how you can spot some of this shit when it comes down to people? Pay them some attention. Pay them some attention, especially when they don't know you paying them some attention. Because these are the people that they're coming to use to deceive you, man. And a lot of them share the same skin tone as you. This is the reason for why I ain't trying to hear that shit. When you talk about Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, and man, I don't want to hear that shit until we can talk about this. Now, if we can talk about this, then I want to sit down and talk about what everybody else talking about on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Or all the shit they posting on Instagram. Then it's cool. I won't have a problem with it then. But if you only get to say whatever the fuck you want to say and spew out all this bullshit and then try to defend these motherfuckers, but you don't know nothing about this kind of shit, you can miss me, bro. You can miss me, sister. Period. It's called subversion, man.
Subverter is a student who comes for exchange, a diplomat, an actor, an artist, a journalist like myself was 10 years ago. Now, subversion is an activity which is a two-way traffic. You cannot subvert an enemy which doesn't want to be subverted. If you know history of Japan, for example, before 20th century, Japan was a closed society. The moment a foreign boat comes to the shores of Japan, the Imperial Japanese Army politely tells them to get lost. And if American salesman comes to the shore of Japan, let's say 60 or 70 years from now back, and says, oh, I have a very beautiful vacuum cleaner for you, with the good financing, he says, please leave us, we don't need your vacuum cleaner. If they don't leave, they shoot them to preserve their culture, ideology, traditions, values intact.
See, I hate to be like this, and I know a lot of motherfuckers is gone. They may have something to say. This is the reason for why interracial relationships can be a problem. They can be. Now, if you in an interracial relationship and you don't detect that from that person that's not the Aboriginal that you with, then okay, fine, because only you know that, only you can detect that, only you are with that person. You know what I'm saying? But if you in a interracial relationship, man or woman, now I don't give a fuck who you are, if you're a man or a woman, if you are in an interracial relationship and you kind of detect certain things, then you might want to, pay that some attention, because it comes in the form of that. Red Wolf talk about it all the time. Darkman, before I met Red Wolf, Darkman used to talk about it all the time, about how they use that to infiltrate. And y'all know Darkman, his genealogy go back to the islands. You know what I'm saying? And he used to talk about that, how they intermarried into our family and shit. He's talking about it, man. I used to hear him talk about it before I met Red Wolf. And Red Wolf, you already know he talked about it. This is subversion, man. God damn, y'all been hearing me say it for the longest. One of the reasons for why it's so hard for me to break down this video is because, one of the reasons why it takes me so long to make the video is because I want to thoroughly break it down. In order for me to do that, it's going to take some time. That's one of the reasons why I shied away from it. It's kind of like how my people get pissed off at me because I ain't made a lasagna in a long time. Well, it's like, man, it take me fucking 9-10 hours to make a lasagna. You know what I'm saying? I've tried to make everything from fucking scratch. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with this. It's like, yeah, I want to break it down and shit, but it's like, God damn, it's gonna take a minute. I'm gonna have to chop this up. For one, I talk a lot. Y'all know that. I got something to say, but it's because I study too. It's not just because I just want to be heard. Everybody want to be heard. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that part. I'm saying when it comes down to wanting to be heard, not because I want to hear the sound of my own voice, or like I want to be the only fucking person talking in the room. It's like, no, I want to be heard because I know I'm studying some certain things that a lot of people are not. And they need to understand this kind of shit. Hence, going back to the whole thing about me and Michelle. This is how we got cool. When I discovered she knew this nigga, it was like, oh, okay, I can fuck with you. You got a half a fucking brain. You see what I'm saying? Because those are the type of people that I'm looking for. Or even if you don't know about this guy, but you're willing to research it, then it's like, well, yeah, I fuck with you too. Yeah, I fucks with you. One man say that we fucks with each other.
For you, with the good financing, please leave us. We don't need your vacuum cleaner. If they don't leave, they shoot them to preserve their culture, ideology, traditions, values intact. You were not able to subvert Japan. You cannot subvert Soviet Union because the borders are closed. The media is censored by the government. The population is controlled by the KGB and internal police. With all the beautiful glossy pictures of Time magazine and Magazine America, which is published by the American Embassy in Moscow, you cannot subvert Soviet citizens because the magazine never reaches Soviet citizens. It's collected from the newsstands and thrown to garbage can.
You understand? Do you understand? Do you get it? This is part of what I was saying about us coming back together. We have to come together. Because he ain't even got into it fully about how they do it. He ain't really got there yet. The nations and shit that he was talking about were a standing people. They were unified, or at least way more fucking unified than what we are now. This is the reason for why certain things, very fucking well planned, well thought out, that took place over a long period of fucking time in order for them to reach their agenda. See, all that's part of subversion. It's slow. It's methodical.
Subversion can be only successful when the initiator, the actor, the agent of subversion has a responsive target. It's a two-way traffic. United States is a receptive target of subversion. There is no response similar to that one from United States to the Soviet Union. It stops halfway somewhere. It never reaches here. The theory of subversion goes all the way back 2,500 years ago. The first human being who formulated the tactics of subversion was a Chinese philosopher by the name of Sun Tzu. 2,500 years BC. He was an advisor for several imperial courts in ancient China. And he said, after long meditation, that to implement state policy in a warlike manner, it's the most counterproductive, barbaric, and inefficient to fight on a battlefield. You know that war is continuation of state policy, right? So if you want successfully to implement your state policy and you start fighting, this is the most...
You hear what he said? He said war is to implement your state's policy. Now, we all know a state, right? You got the United States, which is it's a corporation. We all know that. It's a corporation. It's a territory, right? You got the United States. Then you got the state of this, the state of that, the department of this, or the department of that. He said wars are fought to carry out your state's agenda. This is what it's always been about. It's never been about the two heads of a country really having real beef. It's always been them getting the people to go against each other.
It's the most counterproductive, barbaric, and inefficient to fight on a battlefield. You know that war is continuation of state policy, right? So if you want successfully to implement your state policy and you start fighting, this is the most idiotic way to do it. The highest art of warfare is not to fight at all, but to subvert anything of value in the country of your enemy, until such time that the perception of reality of your enemy is screwed up to such an extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy, and that your system, your civilization, and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable, then at least feasible.
Ain't that the reason for why we have not came together? Because we don't view and look at, or even we understand and we get it, but we so locked into a trance to where we go towards our enemies. Now, I'm not finna go into all this, that, and the other about who the enemies are and this, that, and the other, because any intellectual person that's listening right now should understand what the hell I'm saying about this. He said the whole idea is to get the motherfucking people that's your target, which in this case would be so-called black people, who are really the fucking indigenous people of the Americas. He said that they're the target, hypothetically, okay? He said the way that you subvert is to get them to not realize that they are the enemy at all. Hence is the reason for why if the motherfucker ain't famous or if he ain't got a certain skin tone, our people don't believe it. This is the reason for why people like Kanye West should not be allowed to have a platform. Because everybody's for the last 10 days have been focused more on what they allowed you to see, the interview they wanted you to hear. And everybody forgot about subversion.
Extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy, and that your system, your civilization, and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable, then at least feasible. Better red than dead.
He said at least not desirable, but at least physical. A lot of us don't desire to be like these motherfuckers. A lot of us don't. A lot of us do and act the way we do because we've accepted their culture. But even as we've accepted their goddamn culture, we know it don't belong to us. It don't fit. We all feel out of place. But because they got your motherfucking ass not realizing, or you not having the ability to do something about going to your enemy, because the subversion is that thick, is that fucking strong, that you've been subverted to a point to where you look to them.
Your civilization and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable, then at least feasible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically...
Then how many goddamn times have read that Jim Red Wolf then told you they cannot beat us physically? How many times he told you that? How many fucking times? How many fucking times y'all done heard a motherfucker say, no, we didn't lose this land physically. That's not how that happened. They did other shit. And people can't really explain it. They can't really articulate it, but they understand it. They couldn't beat us physically. You know how they beat us? You know how they overtook this land and convinced every motherfucking body that they was from a landmass called Africa? It's called subversion.
Feasible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically what subversion is. As you see, not a single mentioning of blowing up bridges. Of course, Sun Tzu didn't know about blowing up bridges. Maybe there were not that many bridges at that time.
You notice how he keep mentioning the whole thing about blowing up bridges and all this other bullshit, and, you know, somebody blowing up something? How many times I told y'all, man, that the shit y'all be hearing about these conflicts around the world, the vast majority of them are fake. They're fake. You had some motherfuckers with the one thing, oh man, I don't know if it was some shit that was supposed to have been going on with Israel and some other country or whatever. This was about 8 months ago. I don't know if it was Palestine or whatever, but it was some shit that was supposed to have been going on about almost 8-9 months ago, where they was talking about, I think it was Israel, something supposed to invade it someplace, and they were showing you on the news and this, that, and the other, and a motherfucker came out and broke down that same footage they showed you on the news at a town fair, fucking fireworks display. It was the exact same shit. He played it side by side. The fucking guy who's supposed to be the postmaster, Mark Kishon Williams or some shit. He was under Buddy that died, that did the par-syntax grammar. What's Buddy name? Oh God. But the dude that's supposed to be the postmaster now, Mark Kishon something is his name. He told you that the fucking war in Ukraine was fake. He told you. He even told you. He say, man, there's a fucking app that you can download and you can see all of the cameras and shit in real time. All the cameras that's on the street. Like they got cameras on the street here. They got cameras on the street all over the motherfucking world. Mark Christian Anthony or whatever the fuck dude name is. He was the first motherfucker to tell y'all this. He's like, oh yeah, I've watched damn near all of the cameras over in the Ukraine. It's like all I've seen is women walking down the street pushing strollers. Didn't dude tell you that when news hit the Soviet or Japan or whatever, they just politely take the magazine and throw it in the garbage? Now you understand why the Ukrainians don't fucking understand nothing about there's supposed to be some sort of fucking war going on. It's called subversion, man. Y'all gonna learn though.
At least feasible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically what subversion is. As you see, not a single mentioning of blowing up bridges. Of course, Sun Tzu didn't know about blowing up bridges. Maybe there were not that many bridges at that time. But the basics of subversion is being taught to every student of KGB school in USSR and to officers of military academies. I'm not sure if the same author is included in the list of breeding for American officers, to say nothing about ordinary students of political science. I had difficulty to find the translation of Sun Tzu in...
And this is one of the reasons for why military guys can be dangerous. You have to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what branch they went in, you know, what their job was, what type of career they was trying to, you know, follow while they was in there, whatever, you got to be careful. Because when they talk about soldiers, you got to understand, when these guys are active and they doing their thing, a lot of times they ain't got no fucking military uniform on, but they still active duty. They still fucking carrying out missions without a fucking soldier uniform on. You got to understand, man, this shit is deep. It's deep, man. I'm going to leave it right here for a minute, man. And I'm going to come back, man. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, probably around to like the 50-minute mark. And we just going to have to keep chopping this shit up. Because he's saying too much shit for me not to pause it and be like, okay, listen, you heard what he just said, da, da, da. He's saying too much. He's saying too much, man. It's like how y'all heard Red Wolf say, you know, a lot of these motherfuckers are already on our soil. They're here. They've been here for a while. This is the fucking shit he's talking about. It's real, man. It's real. A lot of these motherfuckers, this has been talked about for a while now. A lot of these motherfucking shootings that has been happening in a lot of these major cities, I done said it on my first channel. A lot of motherfuckers don't know who doing the shooting. They don't know. I told y'all the story about how the motherfucker was riding down the street in a rusty, dusty, dirty ass, raggedy ass, rusty ass Dodge Caravan, and it was the police. This was the raggliest motherfucking Dodge Caravan, or what's the other one? The Plymouth Windstar, whatever the fuck it is. It was like a Dodge Caravan, son. When I tell you this motherfucker was old and falling the fuck apart, that's what I mean. And it was the goddamn cops. 2 young white boys. Young. You got motherfuckers who look like us, same skin complexion, and because we go with all that shit like, yeah, you know, it's just another brother or whatever, and you ain't paying no attention, you don't know who the fuck shooting. You don't know who they are. I was in my backyard one day barbecuing on the back porch on motherfucking 68th and Cornell, 1 block off Stony Island. And I heard them motherfucking light up the fucking parking lot across the Stony Island, like a little, you know, convenience store and, you know, a little beauty salon place where you buy your wigs and weave and all that, in a little strip like that. I heard them let off so many motherfucking shots, it wasn't funny, but I didn't hear no bullets hitting nothing. And it didn't sound like a real gun. And everybody was running. So, you know, they call that a shooting too in Chicago. But we're going to get into this, man, because most people don't know what the fuck they talking about. They really don't. Most people. The game is deep, man. All right, I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and I'm going to get it up out of here, man, and see what I'm doing now as I'm breaking it down to you all. I'm breaking it down so you all understand what he's talking about, but I'm also doing it in a way from over my experience, over the course of my lifetime. I've seen a lot of shit, man. Like I told y'all once before, by the time I was 18 years old, even if I had a GED or a high school diploma, I still wouldn't win the fucking military. You know why? Because all the fucking death I seen. All of my fucking homies and shit that got their fucking shit pushed back before I was 18. The fuck I'm going in the military for? For what? So I can kill people and get away with it? I have seen so much shit. So when you see and hear me breaking this down, I'm doing it from over the course of my lifetime. Yeah, but I got to help try to explain it to you in some kind of way. And like I said, you have to be open to what I'm saying and what he's saying and be willing to research it. And as you're listening to this, you think back over the course of your lifetime with certain things. He done told you these motherfuckers are actors. He done told you they was fucking agents. They was fucking journalists. And all. You put it together now. You see what I'm saying? And you just go back, oh yeah, I remember about 4 years ago when da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it helps you understand what he talking about. Because the shit is deep. I can understand nigga be like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? What the fuck, huh? I can see somebody being like that. Because what he talking about is spooky as hell. And it's deep. And we only at the 8-minute mark, man. That's why we're going to have to chop this shit out. Let me play a little bit more.
In the library of a university in Toronto and later on here in Los Angeles. But it's a book which is not available. It is forced to every student in USSR. Every student who is taught to be dealing further in his future career with foreigners. What Subversion is, basically, it consists of 4 periods, time-wise. If we start from here and go this way, time, right? This is the beginning point. The first stage of subversion is the process which is called, basically, demoralization. It says for itself what it is.
Did you hear what he said? The first fucking step is demoralization. Y'all do know what it's like to demoralize a motherfucker, right? That means to take all their morals and standards and value from them. And one of the ways to do that is by constantly beating on them and telling them they not shit and they'll never accomplish nothing. They'll never be nothing in life and nobody love them and nobody see them as nothing and they ugly. And that's how you demoralize a motherfucker. This is why I have a problem with anybody who just go all out on our people. This is the reason for why you hear me say that motherfucker like Kanye West and Kyrie Irving should have a platform. If you're not going to explain this shit, or if you don't fucking know, then you need to sit the fuck down because you're going to leave out a lot of shit. And then if a person was to just jump up and say, well, you know, man, he got a right to speak. If you can speak, he's supposed to have a right to speak. Well, then it's like, okay, if that's the fucking case, that's fine. And I'm okay with that. But let it be on an even playing field. But we can't do that because of subversion. Motherfuckers only listen to people, especially our people. They only listen to them if they got a certain skin color or if they famous and got money. That is subversion. After you demoralize them.
It takes from, say, 15 to 20 years to demoralize a society. Why 15 or 20 years? This is the...
Now, in a situation such as ours, as the Aboriginal people of this land, when he says society, you got to look at him as he talking about our people. Because this is what they did. This is how they took the land. We all know they can't beat us. I done said the shit a million fucking times. Here it is, come along, time and pass. I done met a motherfucker like Red Wolf. Red Wolf tell you the same thing. You niggas probably already know this. You understand? So now, because they could not beat us physically, you're going to look at Red Wolf like, okay, so what the fuck? What happened? What did they do? How the fuck did this happen? He telling you right now.
Time sufficient to educate one generation of students or children. 1 to 20 years to demoralize a society. Why 15 or 20 years? This is the time sufficient to educate one generation of students or children. One generation. One lifetime span of a person, a human being, which is dedicated to study, to shaping up the outlook, ideology, personality. No more, no less. Usually it takes from 15 to 20 years. What it includes? It includes influencing, or by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct
propaganda methods. This is the reason for why that video I did of this nigga, I'm saying I'm not fucking saying his name. This is why I'm heated. This is why. It's called demoralization.
No more, no less. Usually it takes from 15 to 20 years. What it includes? It includes influencing, or by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct contacts, doesn't really matter. I will describe them later.
You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, calling us black and calling us Africans and calling us slaves, that's propaganda. Get out y'all feelings, man. Get out y'all feelings. Pull out your fucking notepad and your pen, man. I beg y'all to don't just fucking turn a deaf ear to what I'm saying or just shoot me down in the fucking comment section without being legitimate. Because I'm trying to help y'all see this shit. And then for the people that's been down with me since my original channel, y'all already fucking know how they fuck with me. Y'all already know.
Areas where public opinion is formulated or shaped related by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct contacts, doesn't really matter. I will describe them later. Of various areas where public opinion is formulated or shaped.
Various areas where public opinions are formulated or shaped. That would be the TV. That would be the internet. There'll be all these fucking Instagrams and Facebooks and everything. This is why it's dangerous, people. I'm not just saying what I'm saying about this nigga who name I'm not finna say, or Kanye West or Kyrie Irving without a good reason, guys. That's all I'm saying to y'all. Just hear me out. That's the other part. It's like y'all done listen to Kyrie. Y'all listen to this nigga who name I won't say. Y'all done listen to Kanye. I'm just asking y'all to fucking listen to me. Share this shit. Listen to me for a minute, man. If they got a right to have a platform and speak, don't I have a right to have one too? I'm trying to wake y'all up, man.
Religion, educational system, social life, administration, law enforcement system, military, of course, and labor and employer relations, economy. Okay, 5 areas. I will not write them down because we'll.
Okay, so he just gave you the 5. What we gonna do is, man, I'm gonna put it back right here. And this is where we gonna pick up at. I gotta get out of here, man, because this shit, man, you know, I just want you guys to wake up, man, please. Just, I'll make some more of these videos, all right? And I know I only did 10 minutes. Y'all can see that on the screen. It's only 10 minutes and 20 seconds, you know what I'm saying? I just actually rewinded it back like 30 seconds or so because he just gave you the 5, you know what I'm saying? Demoralization, school, education, military, police. Those are the 5. All right? And we're going to pick this shit up, man. I'm going to do everything in my power to make one video every day until I've done all 1 hour and 3 minutes and 15 seconds of this fucking video, man. Because I'm asking you all, man, this is the thing. This is the other part, man. Like how me and Red then talked and shit. And, you know, I told him, like, bro, I'm not going to monetize. I'm not going to do none of that shit because I just feel like it's going to take longer for people to wake up. You know what I'm saying? If I'm out here trying to charge, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and mother, and woo, woo, then you got to worry about niggas accusing you of selling them a lemon and you leading them down the path that got them arrested and all this other shit. And it's like, nah, man, I ain't trying to get nobody arrested and have people coming out to me for fraud and this, that, and the other. It's like, nope, the shit is free. Take it as you will. You ain't got to take it. You ain't got to, you know what I'm saying? But the point of me bringing all of that up is that this is what I'm asking of y'all. Share the shit. Share it, man. I don't want no goddamn money. I'm not asking y'all for no money. I'm just asking you to share this. All right? Even if you know motherfuckers on the platform you sharing it on, they not going to watch it or whatever. Just share it because I'm going to do everything in my power to make one video every day until I break this shit down, no matter how many days it take. Because you guys need to understand, man, that the shit like they used to say back in the day, man, the game is cold, but it's fair. And it's like, no the fuck is not. No, it's not. I grew up hearing some of the most idiotic as shit when I was a shorty, man, coming up. Like, they used to say some of the dumbest shit. And I was sitting back as a child like, man, I felt brutalized and fucked up. And I'm sitting back over in the corner like, how is this shit fair? Keep in mind, I'm that same guy that got pissed off when I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real. You know what I'm saying? But it was for a different reason. And it was because they had me believing in that shit. And I found out it wasn't true. And couldn't nobody explain to me the whole fucking point of doing it. Keep in mind, I was a little shorty when I found out. Keep in mind, I'm that guy. Okay, man, look, I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I only did 10 minutes and I talked the rest of the time, but I want you guys to understand, at least try to get into the formula, the habit of, like I say, over the course of me, next few days or whatever, me making these videos, get into the habit of making an effort to try to, when you hear me speak or this dude speak, not only do you research what he's talking about, but just think about different things that have happened over the course of your lifetime that you come up with, because that's going to be the beginning way of you starting to understand subversion and how deep it is. Because the shit, man, like I told you, we only had 10 minutes. Man, the shit the man is talking about is you going to be like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? So I hope y'all enjoyed this tonight, man. We'll pick this up tomorrow. I love y'all, man. I love y'all. This is coming from the heart. And see, they could kill me, but they'll never change that part. That while I lived, it came from the heart. It's Original Lone Wolf, man. I love y'all, man. Have a good night.